After years of living peacefully in the swamp with Fiona and their 3 kids, Shrek begins to feel an odd emptiness inside him. The daily routines and quiet life he once cherished now seem repetitive, and he starts longing for the thrill of the old adventures. Donkey, ever perceptive and chatty, notices Shrek's mood and jokes about needing a midlife quest. Shrek brushes it off at first, but deep inside, he knows something is missing. One day, the kids find an old magical map in the attic marked with strange symbols, unlabeled land of the forgotten fables. The map awakens something in Shrek, and he decides it's time for one last journey. Shrek sets off with Donkey, promising Fiona he'll return soon, and that this will be his final adventure. Along the way, they run into Puss in Boots, who has grown bored of retirement and is thrilled to join the journey. The 3 make their way through a haunted forest, guided by the cryptic map that leads to an entrance hidden under a centuries-old tree. They stumble upon a vast underground world, dark, cold, and full of eerie whispers. It turns out they've entered the Forgotten Realms, a place where discarded and erased fairy tale characters dwell. The forgotten characters, once part of ancient stories, have been sealed away and left to rot in obscurity. Their leader, Obscura, hides behind a porcelain mask and believes it's time for the forgotten to rise and reclaim their place in the fairy tale legacy. Obscura's goal is to rewrite the narrative by erasing all existing fairy tales and replacing them with new versions that center around the forgotten. As Obscura's power grows, the magic begins affecting the surface world, turning beloved fairy tale lands into twisted versions of themselves. Villagers are vanishing, and known characters are mutating into darker forms of themselves. Gingy becomes a monstrous version of himself, hollow and powered by a sugar curse. Pinocchio loses his ability to lie and becomes obsessed with brutally enforcing truth. Even the 3 little pigs mutate into savage, territorial beasts guarding corrupted Huff and Puff ruins. Shrek and his friends realize they can't fight this with brute force alone. They need knowledge. They seek out an ancient storyteller named Griselda, who resides in the edge of memory, the last keeper of fairy tale origins. She explains that the only way to defeat Obscura is to restore balance through the original stories found in the land of the originals. Guided by Griselda's wisdom, the team travels through a shifting maze of forgotten emotions and old magic. Each character must face their greatest regret to proceed. Shrek relives the day he pushed everyone away to live alone, realizing how much he's changed since then. Donkey confronts multiple versions of himself in a realm of reflections, overwhelmed by the fear of being annoying and unwanted. Puss faces a vision of a future where he's entirely forgotten and erased from history. Each trial forces them to rediscover their essence and why their stories matter. Meanwhile, Fiona becomes uneasy back in the swamp and senses something is wrong. She rallies the kids, and they set off to find Shrek, joining the journey halfway through. Together, they navigate the final leg to the land of the originals, a floating city of giant storybooks and endless scrolls written in stardust. But as they arrive, Obscura appears with her army and launches an all-out magical assault. Books tear open, releasing unfinished spells, and the sky turns to swirling ink. Familiar places collapse, and the very fabric of the fairy tale world begins to distort. Obscura reveals her true identity. She was once part of every major story, a universal character that was edited out of the final drafts. Over time, she gathered power from memories and grief, evolving into a force of vengeance. She doesn't want destruction for fun, she wants recognition. She believes the only way to be remembered is to overwrite everyone else, but Shrek sees through her pain and realizes she doesn't want war, she wants to belong. He steps forward, unarmed, and offers her a place in the world they've built. His offer shakes Obscura, and she falters. For the first time, she removes her mask, revealing a face stitched together from pieces of countless forgotten characters. In that vulnerable moment, Fiona and the kids embrace her, showing her the strength of chosen family and community. The Corrupted characters begin to return to normal, their minds cleared as Obscura's grip weakens. With peace restored, Obscura collapses into tears and transforms into a glowing wisp of memory, rising into the sky to be archived among the stars. The sanctuary of forgotten characters is turned into a new library and village where erased figures can live, grow, and be remembered through new stories. Donkey and Puss are given honorary titles as Chronicle Guardians and begin writing their new book, The Tale Beyond the Swamp. Shrek returns home with Fiona and the kids, but something inside him feels fuller now. He realizes the journey didn't just save the world, it helped him rediscover who he is. The swamp now feels alive again, infused with history, magic, and future potential. As the seasons change, the fairy tale world settles into harmony, with new and old stories coexisting. Characters from different backgrounds collaborate to build a more inclusive magical world. Shrek occasionally visits the new sanctuary to share stories with the forgotten, helping them feel seen. Fiona begins teaching their kids about the importance of every story, no matter how small. Donkey opens a traveling comedy show that tells tales in humorous ways to help people laugh through dark times. Puss, now a bit older and grayer, starts mentoring new feline adventurers in the art of storytelling and swordplay. Meanwhile, deep in the archive of the originals, a new book is found, one that no one remembers writing. Its title glows in gold. The next chapter. As the camera pans out, we see a mysterious figure reading the book aloud, suggesting that stories never truly end, they just evolve. Shrek looks toward the horizon one last time, smiling at the thought that no story, not even his, is ever truly forgotten. But peace never lasts long in a world built on imagination. As Shrek and his friends enjoy their newfound harmony, strange dreams begin to plague them, visions of stories unraveling, characters dissolving into blank pages, and voices crying out from beyond the narrative. Griselda, the ancient storyteller, reappears and warns them that although Obscura is gone, the fabric of the story realm remains unstable. Because Obscura held together countless forgotten narratives, her disappearance left a void and unfinished chapter that risks collapsing the entire fairy tale structure unless completed. The magic is fading, and someone must willingly take her place as the guardian of forgotten tales. Faced with a heavy choice, Shrek considers volunteering, feeling responsible for what was started. But Fiona reminds him that he has a family to protect and that no story can be written alone. Donkey, Puss, and even the kids offer to help restore balance by each preserving one part of the forgotten world. Griselda guides them in performing an ancient ritual, one where parts of their own memories and stories are infused into the realm, anchoring it to reality. This powerful act weaves their essence into the magical structure, making them eternal storytellers and protectors, whether they live in tales or not. As the ritual completes, the skies above the fairy tale world glow with newly written stars, each one a story reborn. The lands shift slightly, more vibrant and interconnected than ever before. A quiet peace returns, not just from the absence of threat, but from a newfound respect for all stories, even those yet to be told. The characters, both old and new, begin to collaborate, creating hybrid stories where Cinderella trains warriors, dragons become teachers, and forgotten villains are given redemption arcs. The world feels alive and expanding, a true celebration of imagination. In the final scene, Shrek sits under a tree with Fiona and their children, a worn-out journal on his lap. He tells them that every adventure, even the quiet ones, matter. As he finishes his tale, his youngest daughter asks, "Will there be another story, Dad?" Shrek grins and replies, "There's always another story, especially when you're the one writing it." The camera pulls back, showing their swamp surrounded by books growing like trees, each one rustling gently with the wind whispers of the next great tale waiting to begin.